Now my pleasure to welcome Dr. David Scott, Associate Professor of Sports Psychology in the Faculty of Kinesiology. Dr. Scott completed a Bachelor of Arts and a teaching certificate at the University of Ulster, Belfast, Northern Ireland, and a Master of Arts in Sports Psychology, a Master of Arts in Psychology, and a doctoral degree in Sport and Exercise Psychology at the University of Victoria in British Columbia. He teaches and does research in the area of sport and exercise psychology. Now, since coming to the University of New Brunswick in 1997, Dr. Scott has been involved in over 70 research projects and published or presented over 100 papers. In addition, he has given over 200 invited talks and workshops, and the Globe and Mail named him one of the top 3 outstanding university teachers in Canada in 2010. He has been a consultant with a number of companies and government departments, in addition to being a sports psychology consultant with a number of teams, including the National Women's Hockey Team, the Vancouver Canucks, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Florida Panthers. He is currently a consultant with the Montreal Canadiens of the National Hockey League. Dr. Scott.
The top of the morning to you all. It's just great to be here with you all this morning, and congratulations. Congratulations. As we go through life, we have lots of decisions to make, and sometimes we make good decisions, and sometimes we make bad decisions. And there are a few people here this morning. I'm sure you'll put your hand up and admit who you are. As my mother would say back home in Ireland, tell the truth and shame the devil. Where are the Toronto Maple Leaf fans? Please put your hands up. That is not a good decision. Of course, this is the year. This is the year, isn't it, Leaf fans? Oh, yeah. All looks good at the start, but it always ends the same way. Tears and misery at the end. But then you get some people, like our president, who make deep, thoughtful, insightful decisions. He's a die-hard Montreal Canadian fan. And what does that mean? Well, that means he gets to watch playoff hockey, for example, something Leaf fans know nothing about. He gets to enjoy hockey, he gets to have fun in his life, and he has a coloured photograph of the last time the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup, which is more than can be said for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Congratulations in deciding to come to the University of New Brunswick. I made this decision 14 years ago, and I've not regretted one day of it. So congratulations. But in the next 4 years or so, you've got to make some more decisions. Now, if you listen carefully, you might detect a slight accent. I come from Belfast in Northern Ireland. You've probably never heard of Belfast, a sort of peaceful, friendly kind of little city, really. But the reason I mention that is I'm not the sharpest knife in the block. You never hear people saying, gosh, the Irish are so smart. I mean, but I know this. I know that in the next 4 years, going to class is a better decision than not going to class. Taking notes is a better decision than not taking notes. Staying awake is a better decision than falling asleep. Studying for your exams is going to be a better decision than not studying. And I know you're going to do all of those things. But what I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about this morning was the way that we think, right? Because, the way we think influences the world in which we live, and it influences the decisions that we make, right? Now, there's basically 3 ways of thinking, isn't there? There's basically 3 ways. First of all, you can be a pessimistic person, right? Everything is doom and gloom. Why did I come here this morning? That prof is so boring. He's got the funny accent. I can't make out what he says. It's a complete waste of time. Just doom and gloom. Stay away from those people, right? But the scary thing about them, of course, is they're nearly always right. Yeah, like, I'll give you an example. UNB is a great university, but I don't know why you bother coming here. You're all going to die someday. I bet you I'm right. Yeah? Or, right before, sorry for all this hockey stuff, but, it's coming up to the season now, so I'm getting all excited. You're the goalie in a hockey team, right before the final. And the coach comes up to you and says, "Hey, Scotty, how do you think it's going to go?" I'm the goalie. "How do you think it's going to go, Scotty?" And I go, "Well, Coach, I got a really bad feeling. I think we're going to get our butts kicked." How hard do I have to try to be right? I don't have to try very hard at all. Just sit on my backside, right? Don't do anything. Yeah? I don't know why I'm taking this course. Complete waste of time. Right? Pessimistic people. They don't care about solutions. They don't want to make things better. They just want to moan and complain and say, "I told you so." Right? They're not part of the future. They're not part of making anything better. Don't be one of those people. Of course, the second way of thinking is to be optimistic. And there's two types, right, of optimistic thinkers. There's the naive optimist, and there's the successful optimist. The naive optimist, they are dangerous people because they think that everything is going to be all right. Right? So the president comes up to me and goes, "Scotty, you all ready for your big talk?" And I go, "No." He goes, "What are you going to say?" I said, "I haven't a clue. I have nothing written down, but I got a good feeling that everything's just going to be okay." Right? These people are dangerous. A little while ago, I had the great honor of working in Pakistan. I spent some time working in Pakistan. And I was working with, I'm not going to bore you here, but I was working with the West Indies cricket team. I don't know if you even know what cricket is, but anyways, it's a bit like baseball on Valium. But anyways, it lasts about 5 days, these games. 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, and even at the end of 5 days, most times you don't get a winner. And so anyways, we're sitting in the dressing room in Lahore, and they were getting ready for the first day of this game. It's 8:30 in the morning, and it's 43 degrees outside. And it's 8:30 in the morning. And we're in the dressing room, and there's no air conditioning. And the last time the changing room was cleaned was 1937. And so things aren't looking good here. And of course, you've got to drink the bottled water there. And so there's a big stack of bottled water sitting outside the fridge. Why? Because, of course, the fridge doesn't work. Why doesn't the fridge work? Because there's the cord, but there's no plug on the end. So we say to the dressing room attendant, "My good fellow, this water's starting to boil here. You better get that fridge going." The guy goes, "Sorry, sir." So he picks up the cord, right? And he straightens the 3 wires in the cord. It's one of those British sort of things. Straightens the 3 wires and just jams it straight into the wall. And the fridge comes on. And I'm looking at this guy, I said, "My good man, what are you doing? You could have killed yourself." And he goes, "If God had meant me to die, I would have died." I remember thinking, when God gave you brain, I think He'd like you to use it, but anyway. So why bother studying for an exam, right? I mean, if you're meant to pass it, you'll pass it, right? I mean, it's always C. If it's meant in the multiple choice, right, it's meant to be C, right? And that's it. Please don't think like that, right? Successful optimists, they're going into the exam, they're confident, they're optimistic. Why? Because they've put all the work in. Of course you can't control everything. You get a prof like me who's got the, you can't, and I get all excited and I start speaking fast, and yeah, it's not easy, and all right. But you know something? You can control enough here. Everything's not going to go your way here, but you can control enough to succeed. Let me give you an example. You're sitting on the airplane in Toronto. You're at the terminal. And the pilot comes on and says, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to flight 6325, shortly departing for Fredericton. The flight plan for this afternoon is we're going to taxi out to runway 24. We're going to point the plane down runway 24. We're going to accelerate as hard as we can down runway 24. And well, boy, at the end of the runway, if she goes up, she goes up. And if she's in the subdivision, she's in the subdivision. You would get off the plane, wouldn't you? Has the pilot told a lie? No, that could happen. But you believe that the pilot, that she can control enough to get the job done. And you can control enough here. You're going to go to the library, the book you need's not there. Your computer's going to crash. You're going to go in to see your prof and they're not there, they're sick that day or something. That's all going to happen. But you can still control enough. You've got to believe in yourself. And the third little thing is this. The third way of thinking is this. If things aren't going your way, right, do something about it. There are unbelievable resources and people here to help you. Let me give you an example, right? In hockey, when somebody hasn't scored a goal in a long time, the coaches keep saying things like, well, just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually you'll score. I mean, how stupid is that? My grandmother back home in Ireland is 96 years of age and she's got a walker. And if she plays long enough in the Toronto Maple Leafs power play, what's she going to do? It's going to hit her in the backside and it's going to dribble in. And then you're going to turn around and say, I told you so. I do open heart surgery for a living. The sports psych thing is just a cover, right? I actually do open heart surgery. I do heart transplant people. And the last 99 people I have operated on have all died. And the president is number 100 coming up. But I've got a good feeling that things are going to go my way here. Stick with it long enough, one of them are going to live sometime. Folks, if things aren't going well, if you're struggling in a course, go and ask. Maybe you're not studying properly. Go and get help. Don't keep doing the same old thing, making the same old mistakes again. You're much better than that. Second little suggestion I have to you about thinking properly is demand from yourself. Think properly. A little while ago, I had the great honor and privilege of speaking to every single school teacher in the great province of Prince Edward Island. And if there's any PEI people here, no? Yeah, right. Woo! Yeah, right. I wasn't PEI for the summer. I was there for 2 weeks this summer. It was awesome. It only rained twice. Yep, once for 10 days and once for 4 days. It was absolutely marvelous. And I asked all these teachers, we were yakking about something else, and I asked them how many of them liked haggis. You all know what haggis is. That sort of great Scottish recipe where you take everything in a sheep that nobody eats, you stick it into the stomach, you boil the stomach and you eat it. And I asked them, put your hand up if you don't like it. Okay? And they all put their hands up. And I said, how many? Keep your hands up if you don't like it and you've never had it. And they've all got their hands up. And they go, well, I don't need to try that. Shame on them. Please don't think like that. There's no point in me taking this course, right? I won't pass it. It's too tough. Oh, I don't do well in these types of exams. That's not the right way to think. Let me give you an example. Now, I've got to be very careful about this. I'm going to whisper as I say this because I don't want the president to hear this. And more importantly, my dean is here and I don't want him to hear it. But a little while back, I was at a conference, at a psychology conference, and it was down in the United States. And before the conference started, I was at the golf tournament, right? You got to picture the scene, 120 profs playing golf. This is not a pretty sight. And anyways, Madam President, we're all starting at different holes, and Madam President is going to hit out the first ball, right? And all the local TV cameras are there, and then, right, to take pictures of her hitting the ball out. And Anyways, not surprised. Like they wanted 3 really good-looking guys to be in the picture along with her. So not surprisingly, I was selected. Excuse me, miss, you were laughing there. If I was Brad Pitt, would you have laughed and went, "Oh, Brad, get out of here"? I'll have you know, my mother thought I was really good looking for the first day. Anyways, so we got her picture taken, and we're waiting for, for her to hit the first ball out. And he goes, "Oh, no, that's not what we do in golf. What we do in golf is we all stand around, throw a tee up in the air, it comes down, whoever's pointing at hits first." Guess what idiot won that competition? So I'm hitting first, and I'm not a great golfer, right? So I just go, close my eyes, grip and rip. Right? Do all the things I tell the athletes to do. See yourself in a positive light. Huge pipes, narrow waist, buns of steel. Right? So I close my eyes, I hit the ball, play goes right down the middle. I par the first hole. I par the second hole. I par the third hole. I am what we sports site people call hot. Hot. Hole number 4. 171 yards, totally surrounded by water. And I'm up there and I'm going, "Okay, come on now, Scotty. Whew. Okay, don't go in the water. The ball's not going anywhere near the water." And right at the top of my backswing, I remember thinking, "Gosh, I got to go to the bathroom some bad." And of course, where does the ball go? Right in the water. And you turn around to your playing partners, and I said, "I knew I was going to do that." Do you think that's how smart people think? I was going to say, like if Tiger Woods was playing, but of course it's not Tiger anymore. It's Cheetah. But what's he thinking? What's he thinking? He's thinking about putting the ball in the hole. You see that? And I know that. I'm a professional. But I couldn't force myself to think right. Please force yourselves to think right. Focus on what you're going to do here, not on what you're not going to do. When you tell people not to do something, what happens? They end up doing it. Like let me give you an example, right? Let me show you. I know you're standing there going, "Holy smokes, if that guy's representative of the faculty," which I'm not, by the way. If I'm representative of the faculty at UNB, holy smokes. But let me just show you how brilliant I really am. I'm going to get all 1,000 of you to do something right now that you don't want to do. Yep. Don't do this, okay? Don't do it. And it's not something stupid like, don't breathe for 20 minutes. Don't do this. For the next 10 seconds, do not think of an apple. Don't picture an apple in your head. No apple. As soon as I said apple, don't do it, bing, there it is. Right? You know? Don't leave a question unanswered. Oh, forgot to answer that question, right? Focus on what you're going to do, not on what you're not going to do. And finally, let me talk about what I think, anyway, is the most important thing of all, right? A little while ago, I was being interviewed for a newspaper article, and they were asking me, what's your favorite TV program, and, favorite book, and favorite... And then it came to the last question, and the last question was, and the woman who was interviewing me said, "This is the most difficult question, this is the one that causes people the most trouble." She said, who would you like to meet? Who would you like to have dinner with, live or dead? Is that right? Right? But which person in history or alive today would you like to have dinner with? And to me, that was such an easy question. Right? How many people here are from the great province of Saskatchewan? Yes? All righty. Yep. Voted Canada's #1 Canadian of all time, right? Tommy Douglas, right, from the province of Saskatchewan. And Tommy Douglas once said, and please excuse the language here because it's not politically correct. It's 40, 50, 60 years ago when he said it. But Tommy Douglas once said that man, meaning all of us, man can now fly in the air like a bird. And man can now swim in the oceans like a fish. And man can now burrow in the earth like a mole. Now, if man could only walk on earth like a man, it would indeed be paradise. And you see, we live in a time where everybody seems to know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Right? What's good for me? That's all that seems to matter. Right? Well, let me sort of share this with you right now in finishing. I am the luckiest man in the world. I am. Right? Come from Belfast. I left Belfast in the way back, right, in the 1970s, 1980s. Friends of mine had been shot, blown up. A terrible place. Canada took me in. I have a great boss. I have a wonderful dean. I work at one of the world's great universities. I get to travel the world and speak. I work with one of the great sport franchises of all time. I have a wonderful family, wonderful wife. I've got 3 great children. But you know something? I would be tempted to give all of that up to sit where you are sitting right now. And let me tell you why. Because 35 years ago or so, I was sitting where you're sitting right now. And I can still remember the commencement address at my university in Belfast. And the speaker came up and talked about the world is mine to discover. Go out there, have fun, and do your thing. And you know something? I did. I've had a great life. But you know the one thing they didn't tell me that I'm telling you right now? We really need you. We desperately need you. Nobody told me I was ever needed. The world didn't need Dave Scott. Just go out there, it's a great world, do a bit of traveling, have a great time. We need you. And let me tell you why. 2 reasons. The most important thing in the world to me is my family. We have our oldest daughter, it's her birthday today. She turns 11. Our little boy, Benny, is 7. And our youngest daughter, Sam, is 4. When Sam is sitting there, right, in 14 years' time or so, I'll be almost 70. I won't be here. She's going to need you. You're going to be her teacher. You're going to be her doctor. You're going to be her lawyer. Right? You're going to be her friend. You're going to be her philosopher. You're going to be her art critic. You're going to be her psychologist. She's going to need you. And the second reason why we need you is this. When you're in class, and your professor is up at the front, and we've got a great many of them here today. They're amazing people, right? I'm actually a little bit intimidated around them. We have some of the best people in the world in their area right here, and they're going to teach you, and they're going to guide you, and they're going to work with you. And you're going to say, boy, I really need that person to help me. But you know something? We need you as well. I can't speak for them, but I've made a complete mess of things. Global warming happened on my watch. I have no idea how to fix it. No. Cancer was bad when I was a kid, still bad. I know how to fix it. Alzheimer's, no idea how to fix that either. Wars all over this world, I have not a clue how to fix that. But what keeps me going is that you people do know how to fix it. Those people are sitting in here today. Boy, do we ever need you. Just to wrap up what the President said. UNB is a great, great institution, one of the world's best. But we need you to make it better. Canada is a great country, but we need you to make it better. The world is a great place, but we need you to make it better. You, and I don't know you personally, but I think I'm a pretty good judge of people. You're a great person. And you're going to leave here an even better person. Don't let anybody tell you you can't make a difference. A little while ago, I was in Manitoba, and my wife and my family were there, and we went up to a little spot north of Winnipeg. I don't know, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's where all these garter snakes come out in the spring. Right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of garter snakes, and they have to make their way across the main road. And being Irish, I don't like snakes. But they're trying to cross the road, these little garter snakes, and they're getting crushed by trucks and everything. And Mackenzie, our oldest daughter, she's picking up these little snakes off the middle of the road and taking them over to the side. And I said to Mackenzie, I said, "What are you doing, sweetheart? That's a complete waste of time. There's thousands of them here." She goes, "Yeah, Daddy, but I've saved 3, and I bet you those 3 are pretty thankful." You can make a difference. You can make the world a better place. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot. We need you, and we need you now. Thank you so much for the great decision that you've made. Thank you so much for all the great things that you're going to do in the future. And remember this, you are the best of the best. You're our present, and you're our future. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, everybody.